On tonight's North Fulton Prep Rally, it's spring break time for the local soccer teams, but the state tournament is right around the corner. On the boys' side, Centennial is looking to run away with the Region 6 title, while Milton and Northview try to play spoiler. The Region 6 ladies have a lot to sort out with 5 teams chasing just 4 playoff spots, with the unbeaten Milton Lady Eagles leading the way. Down in 4A, Chattahoochee tries to defend its title, but it's the new kids on the block that are making some waves. Hey, we're breaking down all things soccer on this edition of North Fulton Prep Rally, and you know it starts right now.
Comcast presents your source for North Fulton High School sports. This is North Fulton Prep Rally.
Hello and welcome to North Fulton Prep Rally, your weekly high school sports program with the very best action in North Fulton High School sports. I'm Kirk Rogers, joined by Nathan Shutter year-round on Comcast Channel 25. Catch us here weeknights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Nathan, the soccer season is in full swing, and several teams here in North Fulton are poised for playoff runs.
I agree with that. Chattahoochee, the only team to win a state title last year. I think we're going to have several more on the boys as well as the girls' side that can bring home the hardware this year.
All right, with spring break starting up here in North Fulton, there's several teams taking a small break from game action. It's time to get you caught up with what's happening, and we start with the Region 6 boys and the Milton Eagles.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a surprise here. Milton only 6-7 on the year, 3-2 in region play. That's good for third place. They can still move up to second if West Forsyth loses and Milton can take care of Northview. But I was a little surprised at the slow start that Milton's got off to, but still plenty to play for. They get in the playoffs. I think this team is very talented. They have enough to make some noise for sure.
Okay, and how about Centennial?
This team is not disappointed. After a tough end of the season last year, losing in the first round, the 12 returning seniors this season have really stepped up. 10-1-1 overall, 4-0 in region play. They are ranked number 2 in 5A. They're only lost to number 1 Lassiter by a score of 1-0. This team is ready for a deep playoff run, in my opinion.
And what about Northview?
And Northview is struggling a little bit here, 3-5-1 overall, just 2-2 in region. That's good for 4th place with Roswell and Milton left on the schedule. This is a team that's 2 years removed from a state runner-up. They definitely have talent in the program. Just got to step it up here down the stretch, get a couple wins, get into the playoffs is really the main thing right now.
And what can you tell us about the Alpharetta Raiders?
Yeah, they're struggling a little bit as well. 3-4-1, 1-3 in the region. They're tied for 5th right now. They have to win out and get a little help from some other teams to even have a chance of making the playoffs. They did not make the playoffs last year, and unless they can get a little luck, a couple breaks, they probably will not be in the playoffs again this year.
And last but not least, Roswell.
Yeah, Roswell didn't make the playoffs last year, and they're going to struggle to get in this year. 0-3 in the region, 5-6-2 overall. Win out and maybe get some help. They can also get in there. They definitely have 3 winnable games, so it's nice to get some momentum with only 1 region win last year. If they can get a couple to end the season, kind of build on towards next year, because it looks like they might miss out on the playoffs as well.
Well, at the end of last season, you made a title prediction for the state championship. Are you sticking with that today?
Yes, last May I predicted that the Centennial Knights would win the 2012 boys soccer title, and I am going to stick by that. They've done nothing to change my mind. They've come out, they've played great. They have a chip on their shoulder after their early exit last year. A lot of underclassmen played a lot last year. They're seniors now this year. Their only loss on the season is to Lassiter, which is the number 1 team in 5A, and it was only a 1-0 game. So they're right there at the top 3 or 4 teams in the entire state. I'm going to stick with Centennial. They are still my pick to win a state title. Very good squad.
Okay, well, North Fulton's only soccer state title last season came from one of the non-5A schools. So can the Chattahoochee Cougars go back-to-back in a very, very difficult 4A?
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle for the Cougars. They lost so much talent off last year's squad, and it's kind of showing this year. 6-5-1, but they are 6-2 in region, which that's the important number right there. Still number 2 in the region, which is where they finished last year. So a lot of people forget they did not win the region championship. They were the number 2 seed going in the playoffs, still pulled off a state championship.
And how about Marist?
A very good squad last year. Probably maybe not as productive this year at 8-4, 7-1 in region. Their only loss in region is to Tucker. They are still tied for 1st in the region though. 3 games left, including Lakeside, which will be a very important game. If they can get the win over Lakeside and get a little help with Tucker, they can still win this region and be a number 1 seed.
What can you tell us about a very much improved Johns Creek team?
Yeah, they've been very surprising. A lot of young players gained a ton of experience last year, only played 2 seniors. So they're 7-3-2 overall, 5-3 in region. That's good for 3rd. They beat Chattahoochee already. which obviously when you knock off the defending state champions and one of your biggest rivals, that makes you feel good. They're definitely a playoff contender.
And last but not least, what about Wesleyan?
Wesleyan boys struggled last year, only going 10-9, 8-4 in the region. They were a number 3 seed, but got bounced in the first round. This year, they've really stepped it up. 7-2-1 overall, 4-1 in the region. They're ranked number 5 in Class A. They still have 5 region games left, so a lot to play for, but they definitely look like a playoff team. Hopefully they can get one of those top 2 seeds and get home field advantage.
And then who is the team that has impressed you the most?
It has to be Johns Creek. I mean, what an unbelievable turnaround. After only winning 4 games last year, they took their lumps playing a lot of young kids. Those guys got a lot of experience. They're playing tough this year. To get a win over Chattahoochee, the defending state champions, your neighborhood rivalry, that speaks volumes of where this program is heading. I really like them. They will be a playoff contender for sure, and I like them to do some good things once they get there.
All right. Now, as good as the Region 6 boys teams are, the girls definitely outshine them when it comes to state rankings, and we start with the Lady Eagles from Milton.
The number 1 team in the state of Georgia in 5A. They are 12-1 overall, 5-0 in the region. Their only loss is to St. Pius, which is one of the top teams in AAA. They have 8 shutouts on the year and have scored in every single game they have played. That speaks volumes. That's a very solid offense and a very good defensive team as well. They won the region championship last year. I look for them to repeat again this year.
And then the Lady Hornets of Roswell.
They're playing very good overall, 8-3-1, but unfortunately 0-3 in the region. All 3 losses by 1 goal each to Milton, West Forsyth, and Centennial. They've kind of dug themselves a little bit of a hole. They have to close the season strong if they're hoping to get one of those 4 playoff spots out of Region 6.
And what about Northview?
After struggling a litlittle bit last year during the regular season, had that good run in the playoffs, being eliminated in the second round. They're back to their form a couple years ago when they went to the state title game. 7-2 overall, 3-1 in region. That's good for the number 2 spot behind Milton. They still have to play the Eagles, who started 6-0. They're 2-2 since, so hopefully they can get back into a little bit of a hot streak.
And the Lady Raiders of Alpharetta?
Yeah, after a real good season last year, they're following it up this year. 6-3-1 overall, 2-2 in region. That's good for tied for 3rd in the region with West Forsyth and Centennial. They already defeated the Knights, so if it came down to any kind of tiebreaker, Alpharetta would own that, which last year it came down to that. So very important games there as they look to get back to the playoffs for the 2nd straight year.
And then Centennial.
Playing very good after a 500 season last year, 8-4 this year, 2-2 in the region. They've won 4 of their last 5, including big wins over Northview and Roswell, teams that they're competing for those 4 playoff spots. So very crucial wins. This team got a lot better as the season went on last year, and they look to continue that. They did not make the playoffs last year, but I'm looking for them maybe to sneak in this year as a playoff team out of Region 6.
Now, with the depth of this region being as good as it is that really even a good thing for the region with so many people being contenders?
It's not going to be good for one team. It's good for 4 teams because you're battle tested heading into the state playoffs. The 5 North Fulton teams are all ranked in the state's top 10 in 5A. Unfortunately, only 4 playoff teams can come from Region 6, so there's going to be a top 10 team left out in the dark when it comes to the state playoffs, which is really a shame because the team that ends up finishing 5th in this region could probably win a lot of the South Georgia regions and get into the playoffs as a 1 seed. But unfortunately, the way it's structured right now, somebody's going to get left out.
Yeah. Well, we finish up our team previews with the ladies competing in 4A, AA, and Single A, starting with the Chattahoochee Lady Cougars.
Yeah, Cougars looking to capitalize off last year's playoff performance, losing in the second round to Marist. They're 9-3 overall, 7-1 in region right now. Their only region loss is to Johns Creek. They are currently tied for first place with Lambert, and they already beat them, so they own the tiebreaker there. So a lot of good things expected out of Chattahoochee this year on the girls' side. See if they can replicate what the guys did last year.
And what about Marist?
Always a solid team, the defending Region 6 4A champions, looking to get back there again. They, of course, lost in the quarterfinals last year. They are 10-1, 9-0 in region. Only losses to McIntosh, which is one of the top teams in all of 4A, and the defending state champions. Big region showdown with Lakeside coming up. Lakeside 9-1 in region play.
And then on the girls' side as well, a very improved Johns Creek soccer team there too.
Yeah, another great turnaround for the ladies, just like the guys. Bounced back after starting the season 0-6. First year playing region schedule last year to finish pretty good. This year, 7-4-1, 6-2 in region. That's good for the 4 spot, which would put them in the playoffs. Sequoia and Northwest Whitfield left, both with losing records, though.
And we have a very strong team in Blessed Trinity.
Yeah, the defending state champions, their 5th title in school history last year. A lot of underclassmen on that team. They're 7-2-1, 5-0 in region right now. Number 1 in AA. 4 region games left. They have already defeated GAC by a score of 3-2, so they got that over that big hurdle. Just got to finish strong.
And then Wesleyan.
Yeah, Wesleyan kind of struggling a little bit after being a playoff team a year ago. They're only 3-5-1 overall, 2-3 in the region, which is good for fourth right now with 5 games to play. So they're still in the mix to make the state playoffs, but definitely not what we're used to seeing Wesleyan at this point in the season. Let's hope they can rally, get a couple wins under the belt in region, and kind of sneak into the playoffs, maybe get that 3 seed.
Now, do you see any of these teams competing for a state championship this year?
Absolutely. To be the best, you have to beat the best, and Blessed Trinity are the defending state champions. They had a player roster full of underclassmen last year, so those girls are battle tested. They know how to win a state title. I look for them to repeat as state champions. And you can never count out Marist. They're so good. The tradition is so strong over there. Always loads of talent. I look for them to compete in 4A as a potential state title contender there.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this week. Catch us back here on Comcast Channel 25 next week for game highlights and features. And be sure to like North Fulton Prep Rally on Facebook and follow us on Twitter to see what's happening on the show. For Nathan Shutter, I'm Kirk Rogers. Thanks for watching North Fulton Prep Rally, and we'll see you next week under the lights.
Grab some wood there, bub.